Welcome back, you're with us on Overdrive. Tata Passengers Electric Mobility has achieved an incredible feat. 5 billion kilometers of electric vehicle driving data in just 5 years. All of that incredible data is going to help shape the future of electric mobility in India. In fact, to understand how all of this will help in shaping electric cars which will be smarter, more robust and have long-range capabilities, I'm going to be joined by Anand Kulkarni, the Chief Products Officer as well as the Head of HV Programs and Customer Service, Tata Passengers Electric Mobility. Mr. Kulkarni, thank you so much for joining us on CNBC-TV18 as well as on Overdrive.
Thank you.
5 billion kilometers driven across India. What are the key learnings and how is it going to be shaping Tata.ev's plans for the future?
It's fantastic, because the 5 billion plus kilometers, in fact, the number's actually gone up, by the way, but it's come on the back of 200,000 cars that we have done. When you look at customer insights, it means it tells us where are people driving, how long are they driving, what speeds are they driving, what kind of charging pattern, charging behaviors they have, where do they like to stop, and things of this sort. When you look at the vehicle, it tells you a lot of things about how is the vehicle performing in different ambients, what kind of temperature graphs are you looking at, what kind of torque deliveries, what kind of speeds do you operate at, and what does it mean for the vehicle.
Right.
Now, when you look at all of this data and when you start combining them, it puts you into a fantastic place to start predicting how the use cases are going to be. And you use that to optimize further improvements coming in. You use that to improve efficiencies. You use that to improve reliabilities, or in summary, you get this whole lot of data and start to build an ecosystem of information and strategies that helps you build significantly better EVs and help you deliver to customer expectations much better.
The data that has been collected from, say, the Nexon.evs in the past 5 years,
Yeah.
how is that going to be used to make a very strong product in the future, say, for the Harrier.ev?
One of the early insights that we had was on the amount of regeneration that you could have on the cars. And you would know of all the energy consumption that happens on the car, on an electric car, the regeneration returns back between 25 and 30% of the energy. So it means if you have optimized your regeneration in the best way, then it gives you a good amount of extra range in that sense.
Right.
Now, how do you optimize that? For example, you could make it very, very strong and you could have a start-stop or a go slow once and go fast again,
Yeah.
kind of a
Driving
behavior,
mechanism. Yeah.
which is not really conducive. You leave that to be very free and you will find yourself touching your brake pedal every often. So what we did was, we were the first ones to start giving a multi-regeneration level parameters. So customers are therefore able to visualize and see what speeds they are operating at, how do they need to operate the car, and therefore optimize it accordingly. So you leave that in the hands of the customer. Now, all of this came up on the basis of us having analyzed data of what speeds you are operating at, how frequently is the brake operation happening, and how much overrun through the primary brakes is there for the purpose of slowing down a car.
Right.
So it's a complex assessment, and that's one of the parameters that we've been able to optimize. Now, when you go to Harrier.ev, for example, all of this information is implicit.
Right.
And it automatically becomes a part of our guidelines, it becomes a part of our routines, and that helps us optimize it further.
Right.
By the way, since you've asked me about Harrier.ev,
Yeah.
the Harrier.ev is also going to be one of the first EVs made in India with all-wheel drive. So it's going to have a front motor as well.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a front motor,
Yeah.
and you have both motors trying to regenerate at the same time, there is a complex play of torque as well as during drive as well as during braking, and on top of it you have the primary brake system also being activated. So it's a very complex thing happening, and our engineers have optimized it to the best possible extent to achieve blending, so that we get the best stability, best drive performance, and the best range that you can extract out of that given configuration.
Okay, and how over time has Tata EV worked on improving battery life?
That's an interesting one, because battery life is again extremely complex parameter. It's not a silver bullet that you do this and it works fine. So it starts with choice of the right battery under the right conditions. So lithium ion batteries, I always say that they prefer to be operated in a Goldilocks zone. So for an Indian perspective, we would like to maintain them at around 30-35 degrees centigrade, so that we get the best optimal life out of them.
Right.
So the choice of the chemistry, the choice of the thermal system. So if you have to maintain these batteries at a optimal temperature, you need a good thermal system. We've very consciously chosen that all our batteries would be liquid cooled.
Okay.
And what it means is, even in our harshest summers, and these days, with all the climate change
Just
things,
getting hotter.
It's getting hotter. But even under these conditions and harsher, our batteries are always operating at a very, very comfortable temperature. Now, what that means is, if you make these batteries comfortable, the life improves. The second thing is also about the charging patterns. So, if you charge them very fast all the time, then there is an exothermic reaction during charging and discharging. So you get a lot of heat during charging as well as discharging. So while we have controlled tendency of the batteries to heat during discharging, which is by the cooling, during fast charging also, we make sure that we condition the batteries.
Right.
And therefore batteries don't heat up during fast charging as well. That ability significantly enhances the life of the batteries.
So, in terms of the Tata chargers that are available today, would you be able to give me a number as to how many private and how many public chargers there are in the country?
So we do, with every car that we sell, every personal car that we sell, we give a charger, which is a slow charger.
Right.
So there are 1.5 lakh chargers, charging points in the country that way. Now, Tata Power already has a setup of 18,000 charging points spread across the country. The plan is to go to 400,000 chargers by 2027. Now, what it means is, even today, on all highways, on the major highways which connect our big cities, within 100 kilometers, there is a fast charger available.
Okay.
So journeys on any of these highways is absolutely possible without having to worry about things. In the next 3 years, when the number of chargers go up from 18,000 today to 400,000, just imagine, this is going to be a non-issue at all.
But have you found any belt today that still requires chargers, which is lacking, that the gap could be plugged?
So along the golden quadrilateral,
Yeah.
Most of it is already plugged. Now we are trying to go inside, and there's a nice little map that we have on how cars are behaving, and it's spread out over the country, and you see with different years, I mean, a couple of years back, you could see them only moving around in certain places.
Right.
And today, you can see the entire country lit up, excepting in some smaller places, which of course is not frequented so much by people. But otherwise, the entire country is now fully lit up.
Okay. Thank you so much for spending time with us and
it's-
for this insightful interview.
Great.
And congratulations once again, and looking forward to the next vehicle, which is Harrier.ev for sure.
Yes, so we should be looking at that very soon. But thank you for all the questions. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I enjoyed giving you insights on what we've been doing.
I'm sure you would have enjoyed more in the driving seat
I could have, yes,
than the
but
passenger.
next time. Yeah.
Next time for sure. Well, I hope you found that interview just as insightful as we found it. It's time for us to wrap up this week's edition of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with the team through our various social media platforms, and you can write to us on YouTube. Until next week, drive and ride safe.